Good evening, Happy Stampers. This is Judy Anderson from judystamps.com, and welcome to my Happy Stamping Studio. Welcome to Thursday's Tools and Techniques Thursday. Tonight's technique is a technique that I did years ago for a card using a different set. And I thought, you know what? I'll bet I can use this set tonight and recreate this card. So I'd like to welcome you, my YouTube viewers, as well as those on Facebook. If you're watching live, give a shout out and say hello. And make sure you give StreamYard permission to post your comments so I can see those comments on my screen. And if you're watching on replay, please comment replay. I do want to make an announcement. Next week, I will be in New Orleans, and I'm hoping to actually record some videos to post to my Facebook. But I will not be live next week. So hopefully I will have some videos to post. If not, I will post some things, maybe what I'm doing in New Orleans, maybe some projects. I've got my swap cards I could always post, but I will be posting on my Facebook page. And then I also want to announce that in the near future, I am going to be bringing my Thursdays tools and techniques into my community. So if you don't already belong to my community, Happy Stamping with Judy, make sure you join that group, okay? And then I also am going to be requesting that you try what I bring you, the technique that I bring you, with whatever you have. I don't care if it's Stampin' Up! Or another product line, it doesn't matter. But I will announce in the future when that will be starting. I am thinking of starting it September 1st, so after Labor Day weekend. So let's get on to tonight's card. Welcome. So I am going to be doing a embossing resist technique and a spritzing technique. Now, I have brought both these techniques to you before, but I am combining these in my card tonight, and I hope you find it interesting. So, hello, how are you doing? Okay, I'm going to switch you around and let's take a look at the products that I will be using tonight. I'm going to raise this up just a little bit so you can see what I am doing. Okay, I am going to be using the Christmas season stamp set and the coordinating dies, the seasonal label dies. Stamp set is found in our annual catalog on page 44, and the dies are found on page 174. So the stamp set does not have a sentiment. So I am actually bringing in the Brightest Glow stamp set that's in our mini catalog, our July to December mini catalog, because it's got Christmas and New Year's verses in there. And I just love this because it's got stuff for the front of your card and sentiments for the inside of your card. So, and then the Christmas season is greenery, holly leaves, pine cones, berries, just a whole bunch of different things. Then the dies have many of the images can be cut out with the dies, but then they also have label dies. And these are some awesome label dies. Good evening, everybody. How are you? So I'm going to move this out of the way. And you know what? I was very pleased to see that some of you were excited with my announcement the other day that I am revamping my, oh my gosh, the word just blew out of my mind. Oh, as my kids used to say, it's a brain fart, Mom. But my brand. So you're going to be seeing, I announced it in my newsletter this week, but you're going to be seeing my headers changing and my blog header and my going live in 1 hour logo is all going to be in my happy colors. So I'm excited. I will be bringing that to you after Labor Day also. So I'm going to bring that to you in September. And if you want to be the first to get a sneak peek of that, you're going to want to join my newsletter. So newsletter list. So go to judystamps.com and it's Judi. It's right on the screen. and sign up for my newsletter, and then you'll be one of the first to see it, because I'll post it there on the first Wednesday after Labor Day, and then I will be changing everything that afternoon. And I'm so excited. I just love, I'm working with somebody, and she has just done a phenomenal job. So our card pieces today, I am using Gorgeous Grape as my card base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. So your standard card base. We're using our bone folder to burnish that fold line. Then my next piece is crushed curry, and it measures 4 by 5.25. So we're going to be layering that on. Then old olive, and this measures 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Actually, I think it's an eighth of an inch or 16th of an inch larger, because I wanted the crushed curry just to be a little bit smaller. Or is this the one I changed? Hang on a second. Okay, this is 3.5 by 4 3/4. So you're going to notice that the old olive layer is a little bit smaller, just a teeny bit, than the Gorgeous Grape and crushed curry. And then I have a piece the same size, 3.5 by 4 3/4, for the inside of the card. The tools I'm going to be using tonight are crumb cake, Gorgeous Grape, old olive, crushed curry, bringing in my blending brushes, and then my spritzer, mark pad, and then my white embossing powder. I would use vanilla, but we don't have vanilla anymore. And then my embossing toolkit. So are you guys ready? This is going to be so much fun, and I hope that you guys really enjoy this. And we are going to do some die cutting, and I'm using my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay, so let's start out with the front of our card. So we are going to take our very vanilla, and both sides have a little edge on it. So to get rid of that edge, I just take my bone folder and go around and flatten that edge. And that edge happens when you cut, like maybe in one direction. I probably cut this way and then turned it over, and then you have a lip on one side. So got that flat. Now I'm going to take my embossing buddy, and we're just going to rub that all over. What embossing buddy does is it prevents all those loose little embossing beads, because your embossing powder, all that is little plastic beads of different sizes, and it depends on the type of embossing powder you're using. Okay, so let's grab, I am going to grab my, look at all these dies and masks. I've used this set a lot. Okay, so it's kind of falling apart here. Help, help. I'm grabbing my larger pine bough and the smaller pine boughs, because we want different sizes. So I want the illusion that I've got a pine bough coming down. So I'm going to be connecting these two to create a branch or two. So we're going to our block, and we are going to stamp these. Now I'm going to stamp them in Versamark, so you're really not going to see a whole lot, I'm going to warn you, until I start heating my embossing powder, and probably not even a whole lot then until I start using my blending brush. So I want a pine bough coming down. So I am going to ink up the double one with the Versamark, and I am taking these off this corner edge, because I don't want that ending right up there. So I'm going to press that down. Okay, now I can barely see that. Then I'm going to take another one and go right below that. Okay, just like that. Okay, then I'm going to take the single and bring that down, right down the middle there. Okay, so I've got one branch coming out. So now I want actually another branch coming down. And we're going to have this one coming here. So I'm just going to have this come out here. Such a fun card. And I don't remember what stamp set it was that I used years ago, but I do remember it had a big pine bough. And this was actually one of my first swaps. Okay, I want another branch peeking out beyond my pine cone. So I'm going to have a pine cone here. So I'm going to have this one come right down here, just about right there. And then let's have the big branch come down right here. Okay, so you can't see much right now. So hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit more of what I've done. Let me bring this up to the camera. You may be, yeah, so you can kind of see the stamping in there. I'm going to take my white embossing powder and sprinkle this on. And you know, this is actually a technique that all level stampers can do. It's very easy. I know it seems like heat embossing is really intimidating when you are a newer stamper. Lift that up. There we go. And I'm going to tap it off. So now, can you see those branches on there now? See those? Okay, so we have those on there. So we're going to heat those up. So I'm going to get a little noisy here. Just going to tap this a little bit. I can see a couple beads of embossing powder where I don't want them. Usually if you just blow a little bit, they will go away. We also have a brush. You can just take the brush and brush them off also. Okay, so we may get a little bit loud here. When you run your gun on here, you don't want to wiggle it. Remember, we're going to start at one edge and work our way across. So we're just going to start this. I wish I knew how those demonstrators that come on and you can't hear their heat gun. I don't know how they do that. They must mute. Okay, you can see it start changing. There we go. Hold it on just so it changes and it doesn't burn. Oops. Turn this way so I can get that edge. There we go. My gun is nice and heated now, so it's going to go fairly quickly. Now, can you see those boughs on there? I'm thinking if I turn this one light off, you may be able to see better. A little bit better. There we go. Okay, so we have those heated. It's glossy, so I can tell that they're heated. So you can see my branches now when I kind of take them away from the light. Okay, we're going to let that cool for just a second. And I'm going to grab my brown blending brush and my crumb cake. Now, most of you might have the tendency of reaching for a blue sky. But for some reason, when I did this years ago, I sponged it. I can't remember if I used sponges or a dauber and did this. And I just loved the way it turned out. And I did that, you know, it was my first convention. I had never been to convention before, didn't know how many cards to make to swap. So I think I made like 15 of these and went through them really quickly. Okay, so this is cooled off. So watch this. This is so much fun. So I am just going to lightly color in the background around the topping. Oh my gosh, my light. Let me try. There we go. We can see it a little bit better there. Now it's in my eyes. I don't know why my lighting is so bad tonight. So I don't want to do the entire background. I just want to do right around these pine boughs. I want them to stand out. So we're going to have quite a bit of vanilla in the background. Okay, so we have that. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? So we've got that. Now, I want a little hint of crushed curry. And I don't know why I chose this color combination. But I did. Back then, it wasn't crushed curry. It was Axon. It was one of my favorite colors. You know, I'm a yellow person. So I am just going to put a little bit of yellow just at the edge of my brown. And it's not, or my crumb cake. It's not going to be much, just a little bit. So see how that yellow kind of lightened it up a little bit. I'm going to try something here. I want to change these two lights. There, I think that's better. I think that other light was a little bit too bright. So we've just got a little bit of a hue of yellow in the back. Okay, so now if you find that your images that you emboss don't pop, watch this. I'm just taking a dry paper towel and I'm going to burnish over those embossed images. And what that's going to do is that's going to lift, see that ink coming off? Lift that ink off that embossing powder. And it really pops now. Look at that. Just the difference, right? Okay, so I am going to put Joy up in this corner. And I am going to use, let me clean my stamps real quick. Get those cleaned off so I can use my blocks. I'll put that right here. Get my Joy. I'm going to line it up on my graph paper. I've taught you guys this trick. Eyeballing the bottom of your letters so they're pretty straight. Take your block, line it up on your graph paper. So it's about in the center of your block. Oh, do I want to use Gorgeous Grape? Okay, Gorgeous Grape or Old Olive. Either one of them will look good, and it's going to be for the word joy. In the meantime, we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp our pine cones. And for this, I am just using some scraps of Very Vanilla. So I want 2 pine cones. Or no, I want 3 pine cones. Now these pine cones are a 2-step image. So we are going to take the larger pine cone. Ooh, the large pine cone might be just a little bit too big. But I'm thinking, let's see. So we can place it on here. This one here, and then this one hanging down here. And another one down here. Okay, we're going to use 1 large and 2 small. So I'm going to grab my block. Now we are going to use our crumb cake. We're using 3 colors. Our Old Olive and our Gorgeous Grape. Now, would you think of those colors for a pine cone? Probably not, right? I'm not going to lie. But, you know, Judy likes to do some weird things sometimes. And this is just one of them. And let me find my Old Olive. Ooh, I had my sponge daubers. But, well, I know I took my Old Olive out because it's missing. And use this one, which I think was the spruce, so it might not be true to color to begin with. So let me grab a blank one, a clean one. Okay, see how, okay. So for this technique, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pine cone and I am going to stamp it in the soft suede. I am going to take my old olive sponge dauber and just put some color. Now you could also use your markers. And then I'm going to take my gorgeous grape and I'm going to add some color. And that one you can really see the color. Okay, now I'm going to take my spritzer. So I want to take something and I'll take my Stampin' Scrub and protect my surface because I don't want this going all over. I'm just going to put that up. I'm going to take my spritzer and I'm going to spritz this lightly. And just like that. And I'm going to let it sit there for just a second. I'm going to put it up. I want these colors to run just a little bit. Okay, ooh. Look at that. Okay, so we're going to do that again, but we're going to use the small pine cone, and we're going to do 2 of them. Now, depending on how much color you put on there are going to be the colors of your image. And I am taking the more solid images for these. So it'd be the first stamp. So here we go. This one, go ahead and soft suede. I'm going to take my old olive, and this one's going to have a little bit more old olive. And I'm going to take my sponge dauber on its side and just add some color in that way. Just go up there. So it's just a little bit. My gorgeous grape. I'm going to add very little of the gorgeous grape on here. I just want a little bit of the tips. Once again, I'm going to bring over my Stampin' Scrub. I'm going to mist this lightly. Oops, got me. And stamp. Okay, that one came out really green. So I'm going to add less old olive this time. Just going to do a little bit, 2, 3 spots. My grape, add just a smidge. I just added 2 spots for the grape. Bring over my Stampin' Scrub again. You always want to protect your surface underneath. Let's spritz it lightly. Whoops. Okay. And stamp. Okay, so got those done. Now we're going to bring over our mini machine. Okay, let me see. Okay, you guys are voting on, and I can't believe that you did choose Gorgeous Grape, which is a good choice because our pine cones came out more greens and browns. So I'm just going to put this right up in this upper right-hand corner, just like that. Okay, we're going to move that to the side. Let's close up our ink pads. Now, I think I'm going to add a little bit of something to this one. I just decided while we're sitting here that it needs a little something. And, ooh, I don't know where I put it. So we may not be using it. Okay. That was a poor decision. I'm going to grab my large pine cone and my 2 small pine cones. And let me grab my cutting plates here. Get these on here. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do them all in one pass or not. Making sure we're using plate number 1 and 2 number 2s, not lining them up evenly on the end. Let's get this one on here, and that's the large one. I should be able to do 2 of them, not 3, because I only have 1 of the small pine cone. So we'll get that one on here too. Just line that up here. Okay, just like that. Put this down and slap it down. Push it in. Let that handle move a little bit. Start turning it. I've got to turn this. And then grab your upper handle and just spin it through. Okay, so there's 1 pine cone. And here's the second one. And we're going to do something a little bit more to that. Once again, plate number 1, step it up. Plate number 2. So they're not even on the edge when we run this through. Last plate number 2, slap it down, squeeze it, move that handle, and then just run it right through. And I'm right-handed, so I have to do it with my right hand. Okay. There we go. So we've got our pieces, and we can start putting our card together. I am going to grab my brown blending brush, and I'm going to have to get some more ink. It's not showing up. So I want my soft suede ink. Just grab some ink on here. And I just want to go around the edges. I just want to take that starkness of the vanilla off. My thought was I was going to, oh, it might be in my drawer here. It is. Okay, I'm going to take some of our gold leafing, and we're going to add some of that to it. I think that will add just a little bit to our joyous card. Okay, so we've got that done. Grab this, and you know, this stuff flies all over, but I love it. Okay, it's even stuck to the lid. Okay, so how do you put this on? Well, there's a couple different ways. You can use heat and stick powder. You can use your tape. You can use our multi-purpose liquid glue. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to put some spots on here. I don't want a whole lot, and I want it to dry. Add some on the end. Each one of them is going to be a little bit different. And I'm going to let that tack up a little bit. Okay, I don't want to do it when it's completely wet. I want it to tack up. Did you know that this glue, if you let it tack up, it can become a temporary glue or like a temporary glue? Do that one. Let's get some on here. Kind of deciding where I want it. And that's what's great about using the liquid glue. You can kind of decide where it goes, and it goes. Okay, so while that is drying, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to ink up another small pine cone. I'm going to take a little bit of green. There's still some green on here, some old olive, so I don't have to do a whole lot. Let's just do a little bit, 3 little spots right there. This time I'm not going to mist it. I want to show you what it's going to look like. So we're going to take this and we're going to huff, and you're going to see it's much brighter than these. And we're just going to have this come off the edge there and see the difference. It doesn't blend as much, but you've got the variation of color. Okay, so let's grab our first pine cone. And I am just going to grab or try to grab a small piece of leafing. And this is the way I do it. I just kind of dab it on there. And it's going to stick to the glue. Okay, I got another little piece. Oops, right there. Come on. My fingers got some glue on it. Okay, so let that dry on there for just a second. I'm going to grab another piece. You don't need a huge piece. A little goes a long way. And this stuff seems to multiply in the packaging. Okay, so I'm just dotting it on there. And it's going to stick where it's going to stick. Okay, just kind of rubbing it on there. Okay. And this one, it's not quite as dry, but I think it's dry enough. Put it on there. I have to grab another piece. I just love this gold foil. It adds such an elegant touch to your cards. So you guys are getting another technique using the foiling. Oh, who counts? I don't pay any attention to really. I just like creating and showing you some different ideas. Okay. So I'm rubbing off the extra. Some parts has more than others. You can take a little bit of sponge. Oh, there we go. Take a little bit of your sponge and kind of wipe it off. You could take a sponge dauber and do the same thing. Just wipe that excess off. You could also take your image and put it in that lid like that. Just thought I'd show you that. But now it's going to stick to my sticky fingers. Press it on there. I'm not really going to get any more than I already had because it was already stuck on there. Okay, so it's just a touch of gold. And, you know, that's just a big enough touch of gold. Okay, so let's get our card base and let's put this baby together. Okay, so got the inside of our card. I know I have the front right here. Grab my Stampin' Put that on. Okay, we're going to add that to the front of our crushed curry. Kind of got stuck there. You guys know to check mark this, right? When you use it. Okay, our next layer. And it's just a hint of that gold, that crushed curry. I call crushed curry gold because I feel that it has a golden touch of the sun in it. Okay, add this to our card front. Now, when I did this similar card years ago, I did not die cut these out. I actually stamped these directly onto my card. So we can take, I don't know, I'm going to take these maybe this way, have them cascading down, or I could have this one coming from up here and then these two down here. Ooh, I like both ways. I think we'll do it that way. So I am going to use my Stampin' Dimensionals and put those on. Now you will on with dimensionals And I'm going to show you another little trick that I like to do. Sometimes when I use my dimensionals to give my images a little bit more dimension, and I don't tape the edges down. I just take this and I bend it. Okay, so that's going to give my image a curve. And when I put this down, we're going to put this all the way up here and have those peeking out the bottom. So what that does is that curves those edges down. Now you could do that around your finger just like this, and then put your dimensionals on. And remember, you want a minimum of 2 dimensionals on your images, because otherwise they have a tendency of twisting and turning on you. So we're going to get this one. Oh, let's do it this way. So see how it's bringing those branches together? Once again, right around our finger, curving that. I'm just feeling if I have any glue left on there. Okay, let's get this one on here. Now, if you send this in the mail, it may flatten a little bit, but not much. These keep their 3D effect this way by curving that. Okay, I'm going to add it this way. It's coming right off that branch. Okay, let's open our card up and put the inside. I'll wait to do the rest of my sentiment until I go to send this card. I do personalize my cards when I send them. Okay, we're going to put that right in there. We could add a little bit of golden touch to this with some embellishments. Let me see what Judy has. Okay, right off the bat, I have, oh my gosh, I have these wonderful gems that are, I don't even know if they're still in the catalog. I think they are. But they add a little bit of a touch of gold. So let's add these to, I always like to do one by the verse, whatever it is. I want some with more gold in them. Oh, let me see. Add this one down here. I think add that one there. And I want to do another one because now we have evens. And we don't want even Stevens, do we? I'll add this one right down here. Okay, so that's the card. Isn't that awesome? And I think that gold leafing to the card today. Oh, I've got a terrible glare on that today. So that is your emboss resist and your spritzing technique. Hope you guys enjoyed it tonight. So lots of news tonight, and this is it for this week. I won't see you guys until I will come on live from New Orleans. It's my first time in New Orleans, so I am super excited. But I hear it's going to be super hot. Okay, I'm going to see all my stamping leader friends, and this is an event for the leaders once you reach a certain title. And I am so excited because this is the first time we're meeting in like 2 or 3 years that we've seen each other. So we're going to learn a lot of training, see each other, say hello, do some swapping. So be on the lookout for a couple lives of what's going on in New Orleans. Until next time, happy stamping, everybody.